about the Proclamation of the Philippine Independence. Ano nga ba ang document na ito? What's our analysis and what's the significance of this document?
The author of the Declaration of the Philippine Independence is Ambrosio Rianzares Bautista. He is also known as Don Bosio. He was a lawyer and author. A distant relative of the Rizal family, Bautista often gave advice to Jose Rizal, a Filipino nationalist, while studying in Manila. We all know that Dr. Jose Protasio Rizal is our national hero, and Dr. Jose Rizal and Ambrosio Rianzares Bautista are connected to each other. So he was born on December 7, 1830, son of Gregorio Enriquez Bautista and Silvestra Altamira at Binyan, Laguna. And he was died on December 4, 1903 at Binyan, Laguna at the age of 72. The Declaration of the Philippine Independence was written by Ambrosio Rianzares Bautista and it was translated by Sulpicio Guevara.
In 1898, Bautista became the first advisor to President Emilio Aguinaldo and subsequently wrote the Declaration of Philippine Independence. After 333 years of Spanish colonial rule, the Philippines finally declared its independence on June 12, 1898 in Kawit, Cavite. But unlike the composer of the national anthem and the maker of the Philippine flag, Ambrosio Rianzares Bautista, the author of the Act of the Philippine Independence itself, is considered to be one of the unsung and unhonored great Filipinos, although his notable contribution to the cause of Philippine Revolution.
The Declaration of the Philippine Independence or Declaración de Independencia de Filipinas was proclaimed on 12 of June year 1998 in Cavite to El Viejo, or also known as Kawit, Cavite, Philippines at the balcony of General Emilio Aguinaldo's residence. The Declaration of the Philippine Independence asserted the sovereignty and independence of the Philippine Islands over 333 years of the colonial rule of Spain.
It was stated in the document the difficulties that our countrymen are facing that push them on their revolutionary sentiment. Examples of these are abuses from the friars, discrimination, and inequality. The document tells the quick spread of movement through different towns and provinces across the Philippines. It made the Philippines and the Filipinos unite the freedom and independence that they hoped from the colonial rule of Spain. Thousands of people came from all over the world or all over the country to witness the historic event in Kawit, Cavite.
To witness the said historic event, the military representatives from various towns and other civil officials were present. The proclamation tells us the victorious revolutionary movement and the struggle of our countrymen to achieve our independence. There were also events that stated that were considered as the decisive moments that sparked our movement against the colonial rule of Spain. For example, the killings of the Bumburs, the eminent Filipino priest Jose Burgos, Mariano Gomez, and Jacinto Zamora, the martyred native priest. They believe that this event has become the awakening of the Filipinos to fight for our independence under Spain. Jose Rizal's martyrdom and legacy is also stated in the document.
On the other hand, there were also serious problems that was failed to mention in the said document. For example, the agrarian crisis that experienced by the Filipinos. Our soldiers fought for the owning of our land. The foundation of Katipunan was also not mentioned. They were left out. We know that Bonifacio, together with his co-founders and the Katipunan, also made a big role on our independence from Spain. If you're wondering who's Bonifacio, he is the father of Philippine Revolution. After he spearheaded the establishment of the secret revolutionary movement, Katipunan. In my own opinion, I can say that this document also has its being selective or bias on it. It tells us lessons on how we should take primary sources. This government-issued document can also prove us that our country and ourselves were emancipated from the colonies and implies that we have the right to live without any hindrances and we also have equality. It teaches us to be more self-reliant and to fight for ourselves and our country so that we can exercise our right to live in freedom, peace, and harmony with others.
The following are the contribution and relevance of the document in the attainment of freedom of Filipinos in 1898. The Declaration of Independence is one of the most important milestones in the Philippine history. The country was colonized by many nations for hundreds of years. Imagine achieving your freedom after all the hardship you've been through. It is a priceless. May tulad natin to sa ating estudyante sa pagtatapos sa pagtat. Imagine na lang natin na nagtapos tayo sa pamamagitan ng ating hirap na ginawa o pagsasakripisyo. Ganun ang ibig sabihin ng contribution and relevance ng document sa attainment ng freedom ng mga Pilipino.
The Philippine Revolution is one of the most important events in the country. History awakening a proud sense of nationalism for generations of Filipinos to come. In a period of heavy struggle and conflict, Filipinos of different backgrounds united with a common goal process. Ang Pilipinas Revolution ay isa sa pinaka-importanteng nangyari sa kasaysayan ng Pilipinas, sapagkat dito ay nakita mo ang pagkakaisa ng bawat Pilipino upang makamit ang isang
The Declaration of Independence is the document in which Philippine revolutionary forces under General Emilio Aguinaldo, later to become the Philippines' first Republican president, proclaimed the sovereignty and independence of the Philippines island from the colonial rule of Spain.
And lastly, these documents reveal something about the explanation of the real meaning of the color of the Philippine flag. The white triangle signifying the distinctive emblem of the famous Society of the Katipunan, which by means of its glad compact inspired the masses to rise in revolution. The three stars signifying the three principal islands of this archipelago, Luzon, Mindanao, and Panay, where the revolutionary movement started. And the sun, representing the gigantic step made by the son of the country along the path of progress and civilization. The 8 rays signifying the 8 provinces, Manila, Cavite, Bulacan, Pampanga, Nueva Ecija, Bataan, Laguna, and Batangas, which declares themselves in a state of war as soon as revolt was initiated. And the colors of blue, red, and white, commemorating the flag of the United States of America as a manifestation of our profound gratitude towards this great nation for its disinterested protection, which is lent us and continues lending us. Philippine Independence Day has been celebrated every June 12 since 1962. The original celebration used to be on July 4, but then President Diosdado Macapagal changed the date to June 12 in commemoration of Emilio Aguinaldo's Declaration of Independence from the Spaniards.
As we enter the holiday, may we not forget its significance in our country's history. Before our heroes achieved our independence, they offered their talents and wits and put their lives at risk. May we learn from them as citizens of the Philippines.
Mabuhay ang Pilipinas! Kalayaan, kalayaan, kalayaan!
This document is very significant in our studies of the Philippine history. Why is it significant? Number one is that this document reveals the reason behind the Philippine Revolution during time of Spanish. Second, this document reveals the War of Independence. Number three is that it reveals something about what kind of government did Aguinaldo establish during the time he gained independence from the hands of Spaniards.